what's up, guys? It's Ruben from EntertainmentRocks.com, and I'm here with writer, director, actor, all-around badass, Jorge Xolalpa Jr. Hola, Jorge.
Hi. Hi. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to talk to you.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'm like I said, I've never used Zoom, so you're like my guinea pig. Like, if this
my
goes
God.
well, it goes well. If it doesn't, then I don't know.
Am I popping your Zoom cherry? Is that what I'm doing?
Sounds bad. Keep it PG-13, pero sí. See, because I've never used this. It's like I'm not used to doing like interviews via this computer. I usually have a microphone and I'm like, hey, what's up? But it's the new normal. That's what I like to call it, the new normal, because that's what it is. Like, we just have to go with it and live.
It'll be the reporting during quarantine. Reporting in times of quarantine. So the good thing is that you can't, because I know there's some people that they can't continue their jobs. So we're blessed and excited.
For sure. So let's talk about it. Like, how are you, first of all? Like, how are you feeling? Do you feel good? Do you feel sad because of this whole situation? Because it's crazy.
I'm actually good. I mean, I was a little bit overwhelmed in the past couple of weeks just because, it just felt like this whole thing was getting out of control, which it did eventually. But I do feel like we're reaching the end of the first wave, because I'm one of the crazy people that think there's going to be a second wave in October. Yes, I do believe that. I do think it's going to happen. But we're near the end. I was talking to a friend earlier, and we have about 22 days left. So I'm happy, I'm blessed, and I'm just overall, I feel lucky to be able to just still breathe, because I know there's a lot of people out there suffering. So, and that's why I don't complain much about it, because, regardless if I was overwhelmed a couple of weeks ago, today I'm fine.
Cool, for sure. And how has this changed your life? It's like going now, like work, like you have an actual job, you do something else. Like, I call it a real world job, because it's like technically it's a real world job.
Yes.
So it's like, how has that changed?
So I'm a full-time filmmaker, but for those of you that don't know, I also manage I do real estate. I do capital improvement, and I manage a lot of properties. Some that I manage and that I own, and just overall in general. And it hasn't really changed a lot for me, in the sense that I'm still considered, for that part of the job, for the management, I'm still considered an essential worker. So I still attend to my duties as in real estate. And for filmmaking, the only thing that changes is that I'm not out and about on meetings, because as you know, I'm always going left and right to meetings. But some of those meetings change to Zoom meetings, and also FaceTime and phone calls. So the only thing that really changed, I guess, would be in my personal life, just going out and doing things, which I still didn't really do much, but you feel it once you've been at home for like 40 days. So yeah, that's the only thing that's changed in my day-to-day life. But overall, I am blessed to still have a job. I'm blessed to have an income, and I'm very I'm happy.
Yeah, for sure. And you say you're a filmmaker. Let's talk about your movies. Your latest movie, I wouldn't really say latest, but the one that's been hitting all the film festivals and everything, like Valentina. Like, I hear that it's going to be available on Pantaya, so people can watch that, and it's also available on YouTube, right?
Yeah, so it's available on YouTube Red, but I also passed it over to YouTube for free for the next 2 months, so that people can watch it during quarantine. And yes, it's going to be on Pantaya, which is Lionsgate streaming site, and it's coming very soon. I keep saying that it's been almost like 4 months now, but it's just because there's a lot of legality that goes behind it, and there's a lot of things that just go behind it. So it's there, which is great. But my latest movie is actually Your Iron Lady, which is based on my mom's life, and that was supposed to hit 17 festivals this year, and of those 17 festivals, 14 of them have been postponed. So I'm kind of just waiting to see where what's going to happen, because as you know, being in the industry, some of these festivals, not only do films get picked based on the merit of the work, but also the dates that it was completed. So I'm not sure if festivals are going to take that into consideration when they push for next year, because I don't know, but just at the same time staying busy.
Yeah, for sure.
How are you? Tell us how you are.
How am I? My mom likes to say, no hago nada en la casa, me la paso en la computadora todo el día, trying to update a website, trying to create different content, but I just try to keep myself busy, because I don't want to be like watching TV all day because
Yeah.
it's like.
I mean, it wouldn't be wrong, you know, but there would be nothing wrong if you did that, you know, but some people...
Not like watch TV all day. No, like I actually want to go out there. I've been applying for like work y todo eso. Sorry, my computer just moved. But it's like nobody's called me yet, I guess, because we have like over 20-something million people off like looking for work. So it's like crazy. But hey, like at least I'm trying and I'm doing this. So hopefully this does something with it. Like it's like, hey, who wants to sponsor EROCKS?
It'll happen. Yeah, but no, overall, I mean, it's been a crazy experience. I think that one of the most interesting things for me is that, as you know, I'm a writer, and I get a lot of messages from friends and family who tell me, oh, use this time and write something, get inspired. But here's the thing, like, it doesn't work for me that way. I made a joke the other day. I was telling a friend, I was like, I could have La Banda Limon playing behind me and I can be writing. Yeah, silence doesn't do anything to me. It's, you know, for me, it's more about the content of what I get inspired by. And I think that it just seems a little crude, or a little just, I want to say, yeah, crude. It feels really crude saying, oh, I'm going to use this time to get inspired, because, you know, we know what's happening out there in the world. You know, it's not like we're home because something good is happening. It's just that we were practically forced to stop our lives, you know? So with that said, I am excited because, you know, as you know, I just finished a series that I wrote, which we will not talk about because, like, according to Ruben, it's very confusing. And I don't want people to be turned off by it. So we're gonna wait until you finish reading it so we can talk about it.
So, porque like me and, well, cause I like watching Family Guy and shows like that. So it's like my attention span isn't like there. It's like I need like some animation stuff to like pop up and be like, hey, or something, you know.
Yeah, no. Then I should have never said it to you because you were like, it's confusing. I'm like, don't say that. Don't say that because it's not confusing. You didn't even know the order of the episodes on the email I sent you, so I already knew I was falling into it myself. I walked into that door by myself. Yeah.
So I'm gonna say, and that doesn't tell you how I'm technologically savvy, is it called?
But
I don't know.
I will say this: that series, and not trying to justify it, but it is a little confusing because I did say yesterday. I made a post. I don't know if you saw it, but I made a post on my social media that I had just finished the series, and it was a very interesting process. I enjoyed the process of writing, but it was a very overwhelming process to the point where I got a fever from the chronic stress that I had throughout the process of writing that series, because not only is it a very technical series, but it's also a very dark series. So if again, I'm not saying you didn't pay attention, but if you read it again, if you see the subtext of what I was writing, it's actually a really, 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 really sad story, you know, and it's driven and inspired by mental health, and it's really inspired also by selfishness and how people can be narcissistic sometimes, and that's all I'm gonna say, because I'm gonna keep going and I don't want to talk about it. But it is inspired by people that have crossed my life. That's all I say. That's all I'll say.
No, yeah. So I read this character and I was like, oh, that's interesting, and then I was just like, oh, okay, well, I know who that's about.
Oh, no.
Else,
you know what? No, and I know what you mean. I know, but no. It's, oh my God. And I'm so, well, you and I know what we're talking about, and the audience is not going to know about, but I will say this. When I started writing that, let me backtrack. When I came across of writing that idea, and I brought it up to Victoria del Rosal today because we were texting back and forth about it. When I thought about writing this script, I thought about writing it for me to act in it with this person that you and I are talking about, that shall remain nameless. And I kept trying to write it for a while, and nothing was coming out of me. And recently, well, I don't want to talk, I'm just gonna say, like, super vague. Like, recently things changed in my life, and this person's no longer in my life for whatever reason. And after that happened, it came to me. Like, I started writing, and I started writing more because I wasn't able to write before. I'm not sure what it had to do with it. And I was talking to Victoria, and she said, well, maybe you needed to be released. I'm like, or maybe I needed to release something in order to write it. But it does seem like that character does seem like the person you and I are talking about, but it is not intentionally. It was done. well, I guess it was done intentionally, but not really. It wasn't meant like a diss or anything like that. It's just the way that it's just like the flow of how it came out of me. And with that said, because it's such a dark series, I've decided not to act in it anymore. I actually reached out to another actor who I think would be great for the role. And we'll see what happens. Because it's definitely not inspired on my life. Now people are going to watch it and be like, wait a minute, this is a crazy series. So, no, it's not.
So, and you write movies. You have 4 films done. Like your company also does partnerships with like different filmmakers, and like they're releasing movies through your company. Talk about that. How has you or them reaching out to you changed during these times? It's like, do you have more meetings with different people, or do they just send you a script and you're like, hey, can you read it? And if you like it, you like it. If not, then, or like, how does that process work? Like, that's what I'm trying to like figure out.
Well, it's, I'm glad you asked that question because it works different for everybody. And I think the most important thing to remember is that, everybody knows each other in this industry. And there's a lot of people that don't like my process, and I've been very clear about it. I've never mentioned names, but I've been, aware that there's a lot of people that just don't appreciate my process, which is fine. But I will say this, there's been people that do appreciate that process. And I've gotten to know myself during film festivals and during workshops. And part of why I launched my company back in 2014 was because I wanted to be able to create films that I could control, but also stories that I could tell, and also bring people that believe in the same concept. So when you ask me about like films that we've also distributed and produced, well, let me rephrase that. We don't distribute. We actually produce, and we try to just push them out to get them distributed. But films that we produce that are not either written by me or directed by me, it's projects from people that I highly believe in, and I see their drive, and to some point, they kind of remind me of myself. And I'm not saying that's the only kind of people I'm looking to work with, but at the time, that's the kind of people that just gravitate towards me. Like energy, like we're balls of energy, and we gravitate towards what we want. And I just, at the end of the day, if it's a good story and if it's something that I believe in, I'm going to tackle it. Same thing with projects that come my way that I haven't written that we produce. That's because I do have this open door policy where I read everything I get. If somebody reaches out to me and says, look, I have this idea and I want to make it into a film or a series or something, I'll say, send it to me and I'll read it, And if it's something that's not for me, I'll politely decline and say, great, thank you, but it's not for me. Or if it is, then we move forward. But it just depends, That idea that the industry is very rude and people are just callous about it. You do come across that kind of people, but I try to be different. I just try to be the kind of filmmaker that I aspired to find when I was starting out.
For sure. So speaking of which, people sending you stuff, I sent you a story and you haven't read it.
I know, because you sent it to me yesterday. Or 2 days ago, I was trying to meet my deadline. I was trying to meet my deadline of the series that I was writing, and I will read yours tonight. But you know what? That's not fair, because you had sent me only 8 pages and you left me like really interested, and then you waited like 3-4 more days to send me the story. So I will get to it though. I will read it. I just have a pause.
That was the teaser. It's like, if I can say a little bit about what I did, like I'm gonna turn it to me now. It's to the Ruben show.
No, please tell us. Yes.
So it's about this girl. She's very self-obsessed. She likes everything to be done perfectly, and she wants people to like pay attention to her and everything. And at the end of the day, she does stuff with money, and then she does this whole cult, and it's very intriguing because a person that follows the entire thing is very close to her, and that's my whole premise. It's like I was trying to do like something weird, something like what's that movie called, like Nancy Drew with like Veronica Mars type of thing, like CSI maybe in there, or maybe even what's somebody called? Like The Exorcist, pretty much, like something like that. Like I was trying to come up with something.
So let me ask you, because I feel like you're a fan of all those kind of shows and genre, like detective, crime. Are you a fan of those?
Yeah, I am. I'm a big fan of John Grisham. So it's like whatever John Grisham releases, like I buy it, I read it, and then I just obsess over it for like the rest of the day.
You see, if you paid attention and you reread my series, you would probably like it, because it's actually about a crime that gets solved at the end. So go back and read it.
So I said, but you sent me like 9. It's like I've already finished 4, and
It's 8 episodes.
Oh, that's right. Well,
yeah.
Well, 8, yeah.
Yeah.
But like I am almost done reading it, so it's like so yeah. So you write movies, TV shows. You're an actor too. How do you bring a story to life that you wrote? Like it's like, do you have to go into your own like head and think about like what the character is, or like is the character based like on you, like on your own personal stuff type of thing?
Well, you know, a lot of the times when I write, and I've said this publicly before, because I write a lot of female characters, which is something that just I really enjoy. And when I write male characters, they either tend to be LGBTQ characters, or they tend to be characters that are very, that come from a poor background, just like very, not very, you know, privileged. So when I write, I like to think of myself as a method writer, which I don't think it's a thing. I don't even think they exist, but I like to think of myself that way, just because when I'm writing, I'm thinking of myself being in that role. And sometimes as I'm writing these monologues or these breakdown, when I'm breaking down a scene or when I'm writing the script, I kind of take myself through that journey, which is why I was saying, my post that I made yesterday on social media is that I had made this, you know, to me, writing the series was very tough because, it made me feel so much pain, so much internal, physical, and mental pain, to the point where it gave me a fever because of the chronic stress that I was going through while I was writing the story. So my process it's probably different from everybody else, because I also I don't do flashcards. I know that a lot of screenwriters do like flashcards, and they'll do like outlines and they'll do breakdowns. For me, it's like I'll do a lot of research, I'll read a lot. Let's say I just want to make a film about cupcakes, and I'll start reading about cupcakes and like, you know, the origin of where they came from and blah 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 blah. And then once I have all that, I just keep it in my head, and I'll go and I'll sit down and I'll start writing the plot. And I have this idea that whatever I can remember and whatever comes to my head from the research that I did is what needs to be on paper. That's it. So instead of like writing all these outlines and writing all these flashcards and writing all these notes and, you know, having all these I don't even have a wall. Like people ask me, do you have your screenwriter's wall? I'm like, what is that? Like, I don't know what that is. So I don't even have that. And I'll sit down and I'll write on my phone, because I have the app on my phone too. So it really depends what I'm trying to write. Now, if it's something like the series that I just wrote that was very technical and it was very driven on mental health issues, I can tell you that I had been doing research for that series for the last 3 years. Like I had constantly been reading about the specific mental disorder that gets tackled on this series for the last 3 years, because it was something that really passionate, that made me passionate about it. I just got really drawn into it, you know, which is strange because, you know, you don't want to be drawn into mental disorders, but at the same time, I like writing about them because I think it's important to be a mental health advocate. So it just depends. I don't know if I just went off tangent, but for me, it just depends on the writing. But I will say that my strongest way of writing is just doing the research, putting it down, and whatever comes to my head, that's what I keep on paper.
For sure.
What about you? Because I know you started writing recently, and I encouraged you because you were like, I don't know if I should do it. I'm like, you should do it. So tell me about your process. Do you have a screenwriting wall? Do you have your flashcards?
So for me, like I just pretty much sit on the computer and I just type whatever comes to my head. Like that's my process. It's like I just type, and if I don't like it, I erase everything and I just restart and I do it the way I want it. That's just me.
Everybody has a different process. And you never get the right draft. Like you never get the right draft. You never get the right film. You never get the right story. Like you get what feels right for you, and you just make the best of it.
Yeah, pretty much. So you talked about your mom's movie, Your Iron Ladies. So like tell us about that. I mean, it's like it must have been hard for you to direct the movie, but I don't know. It's like I wasn't part of that film, but I will talk about another film that like I was luckily part of. But how was it filming that movie? Like, was it like really hard, or was it like? Hey.
Well, and it's interesting again because I think it all goes back to being very method for me, at least. The same way that I tackle my screenwriting, I tackle my directing in the way where once I knew I was gonna make this film, when I wrote it, I told myself that I was a different person. I told myself that I was writing a story about someone that I had dreamed about. And when we were directing, I actually built a character that I could become, so that when we were reliving things from my childhood that really struck me, or that they really challenged me, I couldn't feel anything other than my excitement for an artistic approach. And you can ask anybody, like throughout the whole shoot, I was very cool, like I was good. And it wasn't until we finished that I had about 4 days where I came back to it, and I had like a breakdown for 4 days. But throughout the shoot, I was very just strict, sticking to myself, telling myself constantly, this is something that I dreamed about. This is in my real life. This didn't happen to me. Just so that when I directed the film, I was able to also do it from an exterior point of view perspective, so that I wouldn't be biased, because I don't know if you've seen the film. I don't think you've seen it, but the film doesn't, there was a lot of.
I did.
Oh, you did? Okay. So there was a lot of issues with a couple, not my immediate family, but like family members. They never brought up the issues to me, but I did hear a lot of things about them just not being happy that I was making a film and that I was dragging them into my drama. But if you watch the film doesn't really depict anyone bad. The story is about 3 women who come to America, who are looking for the American dream, and and it's pretty much an homage to the 3 women that raised me. So, yeah, it mentions people and it mentions certain events that happen in our life, but it's not putting anyone down, because that wasn't my goal, even though some of the things might seem, crappy, I still always defend, every single person that crossed my life in that time. And I say, you know what, it might have been bad, but they had their reasons. And all I can say is, I hope you become a better person, So yeah, when I made the film, it was just more of a concentrate in making this film because you want to make an homage to your parent, to your 3 women that raised you, but at the same time, remember that it's in the past. So yeah, I'm very method when it comes to that, and I think you've seen it when I was doing Melancolia too. It's one of those moments where you just kind of just get stuck, and not stuck, but like you dive so deep into what you're doing that, for me at least. It's almost like being in a matter of life or death, it's like, am I gonna, like if I die today, while I'm making this film, what will the film say about me? Like, do I want to make sure it's authentic, or do I want to make sure that I have just something that appears authentic? So if that makes sense, I don't know.
No, yeah, it really does. And talking about Melancolia, a movie that you brought me aboard on. It's like I'd never been on a movie set. I'd never done what I did. I pretty much did the behind the scenes stuff, and like hopefully you guys will see that next year when the movie is released. Like we can't really say much, but we can say the Alessandra Rosaldo comes out in it. Like she's the main one. She's a badass actress. It's like I cannot stress this enough. It's like I was there on set, and it's like these scenes that she did, I was just like, what she did, I wouldn't be able to do, because it's like it's very like hard hitting, and it's like so good. So it's like I applaud you and I applaud Alessandra because great.
Yeah, no. Working with her was I don't believe in the word dream just because I don't like the word. I don't like the connotation, but working with her was a dream come true. Just because I never thought that I would be able to work. I never thought that I would get to work with her. Ever. Just it did never cross my mind. And the way that the script just came to her, it was kind of just meant to be. She I think she's the reason why, because you read the script before you came on board, and the script was only 43 pages, which is not standard for the industry. So right from the get-go, we had everything we needed to fail. Like this film, not only is the subject matter super risky, but we just we were bound to fail from the very beginning. And even though the film hasn't come out and I'm making it sound like it's been a success, for me, it already has been a success, because now that I watch it and I think about it and I go, wow, like we were really able to make this. Like I was able to bring my vision to life, and just working with her really is what made this film what it is now. And it was like film school for me, because I was able to, and like acting school, because just seeing her just come every day and be so involved and so invested, and it's like, I've gotten to know her, and I know we're going to continue working. I actually sent her the series that I sent to you, and, we've been talking about it. But she's definitely someone that that's gonna help. Like we're gonna grow so much together. I can't wait to see what we do. And what I'm also trying to say is that she's a person that, again, I don't know her very well. Actually, I'm starting to know her. I'm starting to get to know her more. But I can say that she didn't really have a reason to make this film. But she did it out of the kindness of her heart, believing in the script and the passion that she has for the arts. Because again, I'm not gonna name names, but the script went through a couple A-listers, and it was always like, yes, we want it, but then the script would get dropped because it was a risk to make a film with 40 pages. Despite people had making films in the past with scripts with 40 pages, me not having the big, a bigger name or not having something to show for, just kept putting the film on hold. And it came down to a point where I just felt like people didn't believe in me enough to bring this piece to life. And then when she just said yes, everything just changed. And I mean, we had a great time. And then, with Plutarco and Laura Flores too being part of it, I never planned it. It was just, all of them came on board a couple weeks before we started shooting. And I kept telling my mom, I was like, I won't believe this until I see them on set. And then, I think you've seen that video I posted where I'm directing Laura Flores. I keep watching that video because it's just so, and you took that video, by the way. Yeah, of course you've seen it. And I keep watching it because it's such a powerful video. Like, it's like I'm seeing a completely different person, and it goes back to my whole being a method director. People think that method directors are like Stanley Kubrick that comes to set and yell at you and torture you because that's what he used to do. But for me, being method is just being, understanding that coming to set to direct a film is nothing different than going to an office to a 9 to 5. And to be more specific, being an attorney and going to court, or being a doctor and showing up to the ER, or being an accountant and showing up to do people's taxes. I know some people go into those careers because they're either forced or they believe that that's what's gonna make them successful. But the majority do go into those careers because they like them. So just how you see a doctor operate on a heart open surgery, or you see an attorney litigating in front of a judge, you see a director when they enjoy what they're doing. And for the first time, I saw myself just be a completely different person doing something that I really love. I know I talk too much, but it's just I'm very passionate about film.
Oh, it's fine. It's like that's the reason why we're doing this, so we could talk and check in on you and know what you're doing, what's life been like, and what projects are coming up. And if you guys were to pay attention on that poster behind Jorge, guess who that was? That photograph was like one of those like, oh cool, she's standing there. It's like, I'll just take a photo, and I became the movie poster. I was like,
yeah,
mind blown.
I know. And I was like, damn it, this is such a good photo. I hate it. And then I put it together and I was like,
you, Ruben.
We'll see it. Yeah, it's right there.
Ahí está.
Yeah, no, but I'm excited to show this one to people.
Oh, this movie, it's like, if this movie doesn't make a statement, well, this movie is going to make a statement. Like, I've been saying this since like day one. It's like when we filmed, like when you filmed that first scene, like that whole everything, like the whole mood was just like, oh, people are not gonna be ready for this. And I keep saying that it's like people are, because it's gonna start a conversation, and a conversation's always like, it's either good or bad, but like this movie will make people talk, and I'm excited for that.
Yeah, me too. No, I think there's a conversation needs to be had about all these issues. And I've taken myself out of politics for a while, just for many reasons that I'm a filmmaker now, and a lot of people don't like that because they say that I'm ignorant or apathetic to what's going on. But here's the thing, like, just because I don't stand at a rally or I don't stand to debate someone face to face, doesn't mean that I can't speak to the issues that I'm passionate about through my work. And I do believe that melancholia, however you want to call it, if it doesn't change people's lives or points of view, it definitely will start a conversation. And you know what? That I'm not in control of. At the end of the day, like, I made a film that I'm proud of, and I want people to see, and whether they like it or not, that's depending on them. I can't change their people's opinion, but it's a film that is done truly from the bottom of my heart.
Yeah. God, I can't stress enough, pero like this movie is gonna be like super good.
It is, and not because I made it, but I just, everyone in the film is so good. The cinematography is great, and also, this film would have never been possible with also, my my crew, from Julian, my producer, to my cinematographer Raquel, to my AD Carlos, or our AC Carlo, or Daniel, and everybody, our sound engineer, Johan, everybody, from Jas doing costume, to Alex doing art, and Brenda doing the producing too, and you doing our behind the scenes, and Lisette and Lynette, is it Lynette? No, Lisette and Liliana. Please edit that out. Lisette and Liliana.
Nope, it's going in.
Our makeup artist. And Mean Scene, and everybody, my mother, who was there every day, everyone, and I'm pretty sure I'm forgetting a shit ton of people, but even, Eugenio, who gave us the chance to do our table reads, Tripas, and everybody that's just been very supportive of my team. Oh my God, I feel like I'm giving a speech, like I just won something. I'm gonna stop now. My team at Avatar, and my attorney for not getting sued. Anyway,
there is a little fun fact. Like this movie was supposed to be released technically like this year, I guess, like in the fall. No, never.
No. No, it was always meant. Yeah, no, it was always meant for 2021. No, so we're supposed to have a private screener on December, on my birthday, so everybody can come. And we still will, I'm sure. But no, it's intended for 2021. Yes.
Okay, cool. So I know we can't say anything else because of contracts and all that, but this movie's gonna be really good. Like, I'm really excited. It's gonna be like I am hoping it is one of the most anticipated films of the year for like 2021. I was part of it, and I really, really, really want to see it, but you just haven't given me the opportunity to see it, which I'm waiting for it.
Yeah. No, and you will.
I'm excited.
You will never see it. That's what I meant. No, I'm just kidding. You will. You'll see it at the big theater, and I'm excited to show it to you guys. I think it's something you guys are gonna be really proud of, which is important. And I'm gonna get to work on my series in the meantime. Like I with everything that's going on, I'm not sure. I usually make a film every year in February, but I have a script that I can say that Maya Taylor is officially attached. Maya Taylor from Tangerine. To star in it. And the bigger star that's going to be attached for the supporting role that I can't confirm, and even if I could, I wouldn't say it just yet. This is what I'll tell you. She's a really wonderful actress. I love her work. She is not from America. I'm not sure where she's from. But she was in a Best Picture Oscar-winning film a couple years ago. So I'll just say that, and we're working on it. Hopefully it does work out. But yeah, no, I mean, we'll see what happens. It's everything's up in the air. This industry. One day you have something, and the next day you don't. So I'm just really blessed that I'm able to even attempt to make this film with these people. But I will say this: I am excited to work with Maya Taylor. I've been wanting to work with her for a while, since I saw her in Tangerine. And quick little story, which is really interesting. We had the same manager for about, I don't know, maybe like 6 months. And then I went to my new management, and I kept a really good relationship with my former manager, who's her manager. And we always talked about me making that film with her, because he had read the script and he liked it. It's just a matter of timing, because again, we go back to me not having a bigger name, and I still don't. I mean, I'm working my way through it, but I'm definitely in a different position now. I'm definitely in a position where like I can probably get into the door and like at least pitch something, which is what's happening right now. So I'm excited for that. Everyone stay tuned, because I'm coming for you with my next film. Yes.
It's been brought. Just like bring it on. It's like when it's the East Side Clovers versus the Toros, and it's like bam!
Oh my God, I was just watching that movie the other day, and it's so good.
Okay, bueno pues, my dog is staring at me because she wants to go for a walk, and she just lie there on the floor. It's like she's like the carpet now, so it's like I'm gonna go, ya me voy. Te lava las manos. You be a good person and do not invite anyone to your house porque you don't know if you're clean or dirty. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm Ruben.
I'm Jorge. And thank you for having me. Have a good night.
Oh, sure. Bye.
Bye.